This is your degenerate power hour, your late night golden shower. Too ill to be sick, so thick you can't split. That carnival spin with the rictus grin. I'm Joel, he's BMO, and this is Vagrants N Vandals Radio.
I was waiting for you, motherfucker.
We discussed this before the...
You always the opening talker.
We
right?
discussed this before. We discussed this 20 minutes ago.
I was waiting for a word. Anything.
Okay.
Go time, baby. Go time.
All right, well, let's jump right into it.
I've been drinking, all right? Fuck off.
We got a lot to cover. I know you had a shout out, at least one shout out you wanted to get out there?
Yeah, I just wanted to make mention of the fact that we had a fan, Arnie Dion, was concerned that the episode wouldn't be out on time today. And I told him we're about to be in the honey hole, baby. Relax. Yeah, calm your panties. It'll be all right.
No worries. And this is a nephew of my stepdad. And you guys you work together? Is that?
No, I only know Arnie from living here at the apartments.
Okay.
Well, the good old River Raisin.
Good to have him as a fan.
Yeah, he listens religiously at work. That's why I guess he was getting ready to go to work and noticed it wasn't on the site yet. So.
Well, initially we kind of like one of our taglines was, your Thursday night delight. But just based on like work schedules and when it's best to release things on YouTube, I've been posting them about around noon on Thursdays.
I think everyone likes that because, I have something to look forward to being on days now to go home and listen to. But I know Andrew likes to listen at work.
That's the thing, man. Like if you look at the peak times across social media platforms, it's 9 to 3. It's the fucking work day.
Were you going to introduce the Dent as our guest? Oh, wait. He never fucking showed up. Quote, unquote, work problems.
Damn,
That's how we do, baby. That's how we do.
I know you were going to go that hard at him. I thought we were just going to rib him a bit. All right, so I wanted a few shout-outs. Everyone that's subscribed the last couple of days, really appreciate it. We're getting close to that first 100 subscribers, which was it was a little internal goal we had to get that done by mid-July, so we're on track to do that now. And we've hit a few milestones on the channel, and that's something, I think along the journey you got to celebrate those little milestones. We're right around 5,000 views overall now. Between the podcast and the Bi-Curious Biker, we got a little something cooking.
Motherfucker. No chill.
No.
That motherfucker got no chill.
Every day he's spitting something.
Never ceases to amaze me.
All right. Let's, you went to the Dave Matthews concert. Was that yesterday?
That was, no. That was Tuesday night.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, I went Tuesday night. I took an extra day out of work because, hey, I wasn't even really drinking at the concert for that to even be an issue, but it's an all-day thing. We got up there at 2. The gates don't even open till 4, and then you've got 3 hours once the gates open to get into the show. So I drank from 4 to 7, or 4 to 6:30. I only drank like 5 or 6 beers. It was a good time, though. The kids went. That was their first major concert, and I'll tell you what, though, the biggest thing was driving in. I'm like, well, it was already calling for rain. There was chances of rain, which every time we fucking go, it rains. It's every time. Like the last 4 times we never went, it's rained. So we bought ponchos. I bought extra ponchos for Jason and his wife because we were going to look for them. We did, never found them. But so we're driving up, and I'm just like, dude, why is it so foggy out? Like, what the fuck is going on here? It's like clouds.
Yeah.
And then we put together that it was the Canadian wildfires smoke. And it was funny because once we got in there, poor Bourbon's having a damn asthma attack between all the weed smoke, the cigarette smoke, and the Canadian wildfire smoke. Like I said, I didn't bring no weed in that place. I bought one beer inside that place, $17 for a fucking 16-ounce can of beer. Shame on yourself, Pine Knob.
That's criminal.
It's ridiculous. It's like $1 an ounce.
That's nuts.
But actually $1 more, $1 whatever, 10.
Yeah.
But it was funny because Dave Matthews had mentioned he He'd been there many times before, and now it's back to Pine Knob. So he's been playing so long that he remembers when it was Pine Knob, and then DT, and then Pine Knob. He said he was happy he was back to Pine Knob. And then he starts like coughing into the mic, like, I don't know if you guys are smoking more, partying a little harder, or just those Canadian wildfires. Like, but this place is smoky. And of course, the place erupted. Now that quote is verbatim, I guess. Like I remember it semi-buzzed, and you can hardly understand Dave when he talks, much like myself. But it was a great time. The boys enjoyed themselves. It was smoggy. It was a shit drive home, but it was fun.
Yeah, it's been, it was yesterday. Yesterday, maybe even Tuesday night when I was at my office at work. I'm looking out the window, and I'm just like, what the hell?
Looks post-apocalyptic.
With
that haze.
It does. And so when I came out of work that evening, the sun was going down, but still, hanging up fairly high in the sky. And it was like, like one of those apocalypse movies from the 80s. I'm seeing like just this orange glow.
Night of the Comet, bro, where it's like an orange filter over everything.
I was like, this is weird. And then, I mean, looking out the window right now, you can see a bit of a haze.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
Driving down here on 75, it's like...
Yeah, the honey hole got windows, all right? This ain't no bunker we're in.
Coming to you from the honey hole. Yeah, it's like a fucking Silent Hill experience out there.
Did you see the moon about, I'll say, 2 or 3 weeks ago? It was the blood moon. Like right out of the American Horror Story. Dude, I was like looking up like, oh, fuck. I looked at the boys like, dude, we probably should be inside because this thing's fucking scary.
We busted out Lincoln's telescope that night and looked at the moon. That was pretty cool.
Is it bigger than that bad boy?
No, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, that motherfucker make love to your mama, bro. That's the power seeker. You can see the moon. It looks fake. When you look through it, it looks so clear. It looks fake. You can see like design, like not designs, like details on the craters. Mm-hmm. It looks like you're looking at a picture. It's so fake.
I'm still stuck on that. It's going to make love to my mama.
It is going to make love to your mama. And that little boy on top, going to make love to your daddy.
I got a buddy from high school. He's big into astrophotography. So we used Lincoln's telescope, and then Shirley actually got her phone at such an angle. She took a picture through the telescope, and it was a pretty cool little picture. That my buddy Phil, he's big into. He's got a number.
So
of
what
telescopes.
could she do with that then? I feel like she could probably get like a really good picture.
He got this kick-ass picture. Like, it was amazing. So I showed it to Lincoln because Lincoln went to bed. So I showed him that the next morning. He thought that was pretty cool.
He's a shy boy.
Lincoln at first, yeah.
I mean, I had a lot of fun at the City Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been to a wrestling show in a long, long time, and I was thoroughly entertained.
Yeah.
A couple of those guys pissed me off, just to be their character, not them. They did a great job.
Sure.
That purple panty guy, Matthias?
Ryan Matthias.
Yeah,
no,
he was good. He was good at what he did.
To give a shout out to Mr. Paul Bowser.
And Freedom.
My good buddy Harper.
And Freedom.
Oh, yeah.
That guy had
Freedom
the crowd.
Ramsey?
Yeah. Freedom, he took the two things Americans love, Gordon Ramsay and Freedom. He's like, got it.
That main event was solid. But yeah, thanks for having us out there. We'll be doing more work with the City Championship Wrestling going forward. You want to find them on Facebook or YouTube? Simply search City Championship Wrestling.
That one guy looked like Lil Wayne.
The one that turned on his partner?
That motherfucker looked just like Lil Wayne. It was so funny. Like, he had like the same lips and teeth. It cracked me up.
I got a kick out of it because I hadn't been to. Well, I went to an indie show. This was for work though. I was shooting something.
I noticed you doing the camera work a little bit for that guy when he had a piss or
years
whatever.
ago, I ran camera at the indie wrestling events throughout Downriver area for a number of years.
See, I don't like these damn things. I could hear myself burp on camera, even trying to be away. That's fucked up. I apologize, folks.
Yeah, you remember when Ryan and I used to call do the commentary on the wrestling matches?
I never listened to that because wrestling's not my thing.
That was all my footage.
Like, I felt embarrassed telling people I was going to an indie wrestling event.
Damn.
I know, and the actual ones I got there, I was like, this is fun.
No, they are fun. And because, I mean, it was the first time I had been able to take Lincoln to one.
Shout out to that dad and that kid.
Yeah.
Who got an ass sandwich. One fucking guy's ass flying right in his face.
Yeah.
That poor kid was so red.
It was fun, and I got a kick out of like the boys' reactions, specifically Lincoln and Gibby. Like, they were acting like they were watching a car wreck and people were bloodied and ripped in half, their hands over their mouths.
Gibson does not like blood, but he loves violence. They go hand in hand. So
it was fun. Yeah, it was fun.
They were all riled up after, like, on the ride home, like, oh, freedom, freedom. I'm like, all right. I'm like, well, we'll go back when they're there in August, right?
We'll definitely hit some more. Yeah, and there's other promotions, too.
Got to crash at your house. That's the thing. I want to do that where we can stay at your house because it's so close, so I can drink beer and have fun. And I'll be way more loose and fucking with those wrestlers if I'm drinking.
Yeah.
I kept quiet.
Yeah.
Like, I looked right at me. I said,
I noticed that. Even when I like hammed it up a bit, I was kind of looking at you like, "What? Come on! Like, what are you doing?"
No. If I'm not drinking, I don't roll like that, bro. I'm quiet.
All right. What else we got? So, hey. All right. I got a little note for you.
All right.
Do you? A couple episodes ago, we were recalling some of our old poker stories.
Certainly.
And you had mentioned the time that Brad slapped you.
I knew you were going to say that. The minute you went to poker, I knew that was coming.
I got a hold of him last night.
Now, can I guess what he's going to say before you say it? Does he say that he slapped my hand?
He did not specify what he slapped.
Because I remembered it. And I'm like, I think he slapped me on the hand like a mom would do to a kid who had their hand in a cookie jar, like, swap, like, how dare you?
So, wait, you're contending that he slapped you in the face?
No, I think that's what I originally told, that he slapped me in the face.
Oh,
but I believe he slapped me on the hand. Because I have a hard time believing he slapped me in the face and I didn't stand up and do anything.
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
Other than laugh in his face.
It'd be interesting to see how he remembers it.
Now, I do remember a time when I was a child when a kid punched me in the face. He was a friend of mine. His name was Aaron. I won't say his last name. But not that I think he would ever hear this, but he was a little dude, and I was making fun of him and laughing in his face, and he hauled off and punched me in the face. And I looked right back at him and started laughing again, dude. I was just like, because it wasn't hard.
Was this in Westland?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so this is how the conversation happened. So I messaged Brad. I say, remember that time you smacked Brandon during a poker game? That came up recently, and we laughed our asses off. He goes, listen to this. He goes, I was thinking about that the other day.
Wow.
Most satisfying slap of my life.
Well, I'm glad I could be a part of that. A forever memory.
So I asked him, I said, what brought that to your mind? He says, I don't remember exactly, but there's a decent chance I was around someone who needed a good hand slap. Oh, so he did. He slapped you on the hand. He remembered. Okay.
Well, hey. It wasn't okay then. It's not okay now, you fuck.
I remember just kind of being
but I miss you,
wow.
Flinny. I do miss you. You were like a very strong black coffee, an acquired taste, but you were all right. You meant well most of the time.
Yeah, I had to tell a number of people that over the years.
Pompous, yes.
Oh, yes. I think Brad would even...
Certainly.
Brad would even admit to that.
I mean, weirdly, he was one of the few people in the backyard wrestling bullshit that was just himself.
Yeah,
his pompous, arrogant character was just him being himself.
Yeah, Flint,
he's such a good actor. No, he's just a fucking asshole.
Special Enforcer Flint.
Yeah, special. Lunatic Fringe.
That's right. That's our backyard wrestling days, which we should note we're going to have some content in the near future.
Boom, boom.
Featuring, at the very least, so Brandon and I are two characters. I was Ice Pac. Brandon was Serpent.
Because I couldn't spell. Because I was an illiterate child.
Now, for a long time in our backyard wrestling storyline, Ice Pac and Serpent were allies, even friends. And then...
What was it, an ill-fated chair shot?
Yeah, during a battle royal.
Why do I remember? That's so sad that I remember
So then during a battle royal, this is how you craft new storylines, you know? You gotta have different...
I can see the image.
Different
I can see the video image in my head, like of you missing and hitting me.
Yeah.
And then watching the video in my head, like...
So if I remember, you had Luke's younger brother Josh, who was TB Pac.
Tuberculosis?
It stood for Tommy Boy, actually.
Okay, that's kind of odd.
Called him that. So yeah, he was like the leader of one of the big heel factions, which was they were called the Empire. Remember? So that was a feud that carried over from our YWF days, the Yard Wrestling Federation, when we used to do it at Luke's, to the RWF, the Revolution Wrestling Federation,
which was at Strimpy's.
Primarily, yeah.
To Strimpy.
Yeah. So yeah, we had that battle royal. Ice Pac. I went to hit TB Pac. He ducks. Hit Serpent, and then we had that. Remember that we had that backstage segment where like you damn near laughed.
We do a little pushing, a little shoving.
And then you gave
nobody calls me Doughboy.
That's right. You gave that promo. So, anyways, this led to.
I kind of missed that shit, but I don't think my body could.
Oh hell no.
I think we'd both be fucked if we tried to do that.
I had thought about when Jason had that little house on 9th Street in Monroe. There was a couple Halloweens where I tried to convince him to do a Halloween party, and the capper
put a few drinks in him. He'd agreed.
The capper on the night, I wanted to do a cage match between Ice Pac and Serpent, and that'd be it. That was the last match we were going to do.
How did I never even hear about this potential?
Oh,
event?
you probably. I'm sure I told you. This was back in 2008, and
I'm going to throw you through a cage.
So I'd have been what? I'd have been like 25 then. I remember thinking this will be it. That sounds about right. Yeah.
Was I in Owasso?
Yeah, you would have been. That's part of the issue.
With the casket?
Yeah.
Oh, look at his face. Can't see it. But that hurts. That hurts.
We'll get to that casket another time. So
Blame Julie and her dad, all right? Blame them.
I seem to remember you telling me you sold it.
We did sell it.
So why am I blaming them?
They took the money. No, that's not true. I made that up too. I don't even know if we sold it. I might have just said it to save face. I might have just had to get rid of it. I know it was like her tiny ass little storage thing in her apartment, and we were done. We were moving.
How? Okay,
well,
so
I was moving. I was moving. She might still have it.
Let's back
Julie,
it up.
If you're listening and you still got our casket, we're gonna need you to cough that up. All right.
Let's back it up. Okay, I got a couple things there. So for those of you that are like, "What? A casket? What?" We had another buddy of ours who was involved in our wrestling. His dad dealt with like wood making at work. Carved us a kick-ass casket.
It was awesome.
So we could have a casket match naturally.
Naturally.
I don't even remember, why did it end up with you in Owasso? How did that even happen?
I had it for Hollowfest.
Okay.
And that's how I know that when we told that one story, it was definitely Hollowfest too, because I had it for both years. And I also had a black piece of wood that I had cut from work at Guardian and spray painted it black to hold the lid up, because remember, it didn't stay up on its own.
Right.
So I had that, dude. I used to fill with, put the coolers up in there with a couple of things of water shallow with some dry ice and smog up. I was right out of the fucking movies, bro. I was Tim the Toolman Taylor, homie.
Okay, so now I'm piecing it together, because when we did what would become the final RWF show, Vortex of Sin, in, was that September, October?
Is that the one I pissed all over Mark's car and he tackled me?
It sounds like that might have been right.
I forgot all about that till right this moment. I remember pulling my dick out and fucking pissing over the hood of his car, and he tackles me with my dick out. I'm like, it was a prank. It was a prank.
So I remember, Hollowfest 05. I mean, it has kind of legendary status, because you remember I stayed over at your guys' place that night because I wanted to make sure everyone got up in time, because we were doing the wrestling show the next day.
I believe that.
And Jason's fucking ass, because he was supposed to be the cameraman, I kept waking him up. Like, get up, Jason, we got to go. Okay, I'm up. Get up. I'm up, man, I'm up.
Oh, that's a good impression.
Get up, motherfucker. Like, I was pissed. So I carried that fucking casket out of your apartment by my goddamn self.
Where was I?
I don't fucking know.
Showering.
I have no fucking clue. Matter of fact, I want to say Jason and I were the last ones there. Maybe you were with Julie or something.
It's possible.
So I carried that
she would have
casket.
been there. She was there for all that.
Yeah.
Dude, no. Let me rewind. I was in Canada. I was in Canada with Holly and Stephanie and Michelle. And I remember, because I came hungover as fuck right at the last minute on time, and the clothes that I partied in all night, and we put on the best match in our WF motherfucking history.
So wait, but you were at the party though. You were at Hollowfest.
Are you sure? I know it was a Hollowfest, but are you sure you got the same nights, right? Because I remember coming from Canada, and we were at Windsor drinking. I was hungover as fuck, and then I showed up at Mark's ready to go, and then we put on that last.
Okay. So now you're getting the years confused. You're thinking of our first match in 03.
Which was
the second match was.
What's the one where you climbed the stairs or the ladder on my chest and kicked me in the face like a piece of shit?
2003.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah. So now, no,
fresh out of high school.
I'm confusing a few things. Yeah, it was 2000. I think that was September of 03. Then
See, his memory's not fucking perfect.
we had that follow-up match a year later, September of 04.
At your dad's?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Then the final show we ever did, Vortex of Sin, was October 05.
We did another match?
No. So that was the casket match between me, Ice Pac, and that was between Ice Pac and Victor Severus.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh my god,
okay.
that match was brutal.
Remember when, fucking what's this? Richard almost broke his arm, or did break his arm.
Yeah.
It's all
He
hanging
fucked
there
it
limp
up.
at your dad's.
Yeah, I was thinking of that the other day. All right, so
Yeah, that went off the
rewinding.
rails a little bit, but
So the casket was at my dad's that day for the show. Obviously, you must have taken it back to the apartment.
I don't know how
that day.
the fuck I got it up to Owasso, bro.
Right, that's what I'm. That's.
I mean, how did I get it up there?
I
I
have
had
no clue.
car.
I have no idea.
Julie drove like a little
Because it's not like
gold
you
sedan.
definitely didn't leave a bunch of your shit in the apartment that night and think, I'm going to take a casket.
Right. I would have filled the casket with said shit.
So, I don't
Flashlight
know.
included, homie.
I don't know how that happened. But anyways, so back to the main story. 2003, we have... So you guys are going to remember. You remember the story from a few episodes back where a man named George and a broken ladder. That's the match it happened in.
Lil Wang.
We had what definitely was one of my favorite matches ever. I thought we put on a hell of a show. And
Put our bodies on the line for that one.
Hell yes, we did. I remember legit. Remember the opening of the match? You're coming out, with your serpent swagger, and I just charged you and speared you, and I started laying in obviously they were still work punches, but I was connected.
But I was being hit. That's what he's saying. I was still being hit.
And then, like you mentioned later, I put the ladder in your chest, ran up it, and kicked you in the face.
It was always like this, where you're like, boom,
yeah, right,
boom, like
yeah.
they're exploding on my face, but you're not really getting none of the.
You know what it was? I knew you were the only person that I could do that with and not have it devolve into an actual fight where someone would start being
we're fucking
pissy and whiny.
acting, and that's part. I mean, you get thrown through a ladder, you don't get them to get mad about that.
And I always felt like,
someone whips you with a belt and they use the belt buckle at the end.
That's right.
And you don't get mad about it. You just take that and you pay it back later. That's one of the
Yeah,
things.
you keep give them the receipt.
That and the figure 4 you put me in.
Yeah.
You see real screaming out of me in that match. When you bend me back, I'm like, ah!
So of course I wrote all the storylines for those. And
it wasn't real the whole time?
No, that's not what I'm trying to say, you fool.
Shocking.
I'm trying to make the point, like, I always wanted to have the best match because
we usually did.
It was, obviously it's all scripted, but there were people who were less athletic or less creative, not as good as storytellers.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was athletic, but I was willing to sacrifice my body.
That's the thing. Like, you were willing to do that, and you knew how to tell a story.
Bro, you tried killing me. You're lucky what you tried to do didn't fucking work. And you know exactly what I'm fucking talking about. You see the corners of your mouth.
What are you talking about? No,
I don't. With that racist grin you always talking about. I was on the ladders. This is at your dad's house.
Uh-huh.
Ladders leaning against the fence.
Yeah.
We're in the yard with grass.
Yeah.
Opposite side of the fence is fucking concrete.
Yeah. It's a sidewalk.
You tried kicking that ladder out. You tried kicking it, and I was going to fall back. Without that being fucking discussed,
you
bro.
climbed the ladder?
Yeah, I was like, almost like it was like at an angle, and I'm sitting on the fence. I'm on the ladder. Underneath me, it's on the fence. You kicked the bottom out trying to flip me.
I got it.
Bro, I fall and crack my skull open, bro. Guess what? You in prison now. And my poor mother. My poor fucking mother.
So yeah, we have the one match, the 2003 match, which I remember being powerbombed on that ladder, the infamous ladder, and I could see everyone because we had the announce table, and then everyone else was behind the announcers. And I looked back, and I just saw everyone with their hands over their mouths, like he's fucking dead.
Like, oh, remember that kid asked for autographs?
Oh, at my dad's, yeah.
Yeah, then I signed my actual name.
That
was. Wait a second.
That was the kind of shit that like. So I'm laying there, and of course it hurt, but I didn't care because I saw the looks on their faces.
The adrenaline's pumping too.
Wow, it was beautiful.
Like you're riding, you cut your fucking face open, bro.
That was the second match. Yeah.
Like you had problems.
Yeah.
Remember we got up on the roof and you went off, and I'm like,
yeah.
Not doing it, bro.
Yeah. So what was funny? So okay, so we have the 2003 match. It stole the show. I think anybody who was there would admit it. And all these years later, so the whole point here is we're gonna do like a react video to those matches, and I'm really looking forward to that because I haven't watched them in years.
You have all the footage?
Absolutely.
Oh, I can't fucking wait to see it.
I've got the raw footage.
And you're gonna share all that
shit.
so the people can see it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I want to. So we're gonna do a react video. We're gonna watch the match and we're gonna react to it in real time. So that's something we're gonna put together now.
Well, my horrible skin back then. Fucking acting was so bad.
So the 2004 match, we weren't even supposed to wrestle that day.
I believe that.
We had a bunch of people flake out on us that day, including Mark. Mark never flaked.
Shocker.
And he flaked that day.
Strimpy.
And he was he had the title. He was the champion. So I was so
That's
disappointed.
one way to secure your holding onto the belt.
I ain't coming.
Don't show up forever.
I was so disappointed that day because we only had enough to do Richard's.
Yeah, but then we went on and put on the fucking masterpiece.
So that's the thing. Richard, it was Executioner versus Victor Severus, and that's where Richard nearly broke his arm. And that was Brad's famous call because it was me and Brad on commentary. Remember my character, Mr. X?
Yeah.
So we were on commentary, and Richard does that drop kick, and he comes up with his arm hanging like a limp noodle. And Brad just breaks character and goes, his arm is broken. His arm is broken. And then we just sit there in silence, and I'm like, fuck, is it really? And then Richard just kept going with his arm dangling.
You mean Brad didn't run and slap his hand just to make sure?
Let me
like
test
like a little pinata just slapping at it?
So the only reason we wrestled that day is because that was the only way we could even do at least 2 matches.
Right.
We had nobody else.
What a waste if we all come out there and it doesn't happen.
I can't even... I should look up... I've got the paperwork somewhere. I have the original script. I wonder what the original card was that day. But I remember coming to you.
I was always in the dark about that. I never really knew what was going on until showtime. I mean,
I posted it to our blog.
I don't follow shit, bro.
I always put like a rundown and shit.
Come on now, you know me better.
That blog still exists.
That's that.
Yeah. So I remember
Link it up.
Coming to you, and I was like, "Fuck it, dude." I'm like, "Let's do a redux of our match from last year, but we're gonna raise the stakes."
I'm like, great. I don't have health insurance, but that sounds awesome.
That's when I came up with the spot. Like, this is how the match ends. We going up on the garage. I believe we were both supposed to go off, right?
Yeah. I was
going to bulldog you or something?
Something along those lines. I think I was supposed to throw you off and then do something. Because I remember tossing you off. And now I'm like looking down like, nah.
No, we never had it to where you were going to jump off. I think I was supposed to do a move to you where we both went off.
Bro, did you have a life insurance policy out on me? Because you were trying to kill me over the course of multiple years. Like, you just couldn't find a legitimate thing to stick.
So I remember, and it was funny because every time I did a crazy stunt like that, it only happened twice, where we had something planned, and then the other person was like, we got up there, and they were like, no, I can't do it. The first time was, summer 2000?
The only time I said no.
Yeah.
Because most things dude, I don't care how shitty they sounded, I do not like heights. And jumping off or falling off a roof onto, like, shitty drywall and then just the ground, I'm good.
Mark and I, the first time we did something like that, we took 2 ladders, and then we took, like, an old door, and we made like a scaffolding.
That's a bad idea.
We each climbed up one side, and the plan was because it was wobbly as hell.
Of course.
We'd get up there, we'd slug it out, and then we were both supposed to go off. And as we're punching, Mark tells me, he goes, oh, I can't do it. And I'm like, Mark, like, you have to. Like, the camera's rolling, we're in the thick of the match.
The camera's rolling.
You gotta do
as
it.
if there's millions of dollars on the line. The only thing that's on the line is your life.
It was so stupid.
Your life.
So, yeah, we're like 16, 17 at the time. So I look at Mark, and I was so disappointed. And I go, well, fucking throw me. And so
let's go.
He gave me one final punch and then kind of just grabbed me by the back of my pants and chucked me off into a pile of rubbish.
Dude. And
I imagine it was something simple, because I remember you didn't even seem like you wanted to stand up when we got up to the garage.
Well, I'm not a fan of heights at all.
I think it was similar. I was like, well, throw me.
The angle, and I was like, dude, this isn't happening. This is not going to happen. Now, I do remember that after I had to jump down,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
that's
screwed
right.
it to the edge.
Right, you kind of did like a
Flopped
hang
myself down.
Yeah.
Still not fun.
So we'll do a react to that match as well. But that, as Brandon mentioned earlier, that is the match where I bladed. I cut my forehead open.
Now, are you going to be able to share the highlight promo earlier than before you?
Sure,
put those
that's
out,
actually already online.
just to entice.
Yeah, it's already online.
Yeah, I remember you sent. You need to send it to me again.
Yeah.
Tonight because I want to see that.
So yeah, what was funny?
And Denti is like 7 years old. He's like Gibby size.
He was Commissioner Denhead.
Commissioner Denhead.
Child prodigy.
Child prodigy.
24-inch slope in his dome. I don't know how I settled on 24 degree slope, but that's what it was.
Dude, Drew had Gamerhead before Gamerhead was a thing. It was like he was like patient zero, bro.
That's why we call him Denthead, in case you guys were wondering. So the one interesting thing. So if I remember correctly, I did not tell anybody that I was going to cut myself because
you told me.
I did.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Come on, I'm in the match.
Well, so here was the thing. So
you would have to tell me, otherwise anything could happen.
You did the 3 cookie sheet shots, and everybody who watched that, they were like, "Oh, that's the one that did it," and I was like, "Yep, sure it was," because I didn't tell my parents.
No,
because my mental health issues were known, my depression issues were known.
It looked so believable.
Yeah,
as I remember looking,
it was definitely believable.
And then my acting as you stone cold it coming out of the fucking with the blood running down your face.
So that was the thing. So when I first, I had the knife in my sock.
It was a knife you used?
It was a pocket knife.
I thought it was a razor blade.
Nope, it was a sharp ass pocket knife. So you went and showboated because I needed the camera off.
That's the point,
right? So you went and showboated.
That's how I know you told me.
Yeah,
we had to work together to sell the shit.
And you went and showboated to like the little crowd that had gathered, and then and it was, man, like your forehead bleeds. You ain't got to do much. So I wrinkled it up like that, and then I drug the blade across my forehead, and I wasn't even sure how good I got it. I felt it.
It was good.
So that was the thing. So
it like lightning bolted down your head because of the sweat.
It was very good.
It was cool.
So I roll over, and remember Amanda was referee Bionic Pudge.
Bionic Pudge.
She looks at me and she goes, "Dude, you're bleeding really bad." And I go, "How bad?" She goes, "It's bad." So yeah, I had the crimson mask. It was coming down my face, and then I remember when you stepped back in the ring. And I mean, the adrenaline was going, but I remember there was a look on your face like, "Fuck, he's really pissed."
Well, I mean, you cut yourself
but I wasn't.
So
but
I mean,
you had a look like, "Oh shit, I'm in trouble."
That's called acting, bro. I mean, I knew I was being prepared to get hit in the face multiple times with exploding punches, but that was all part. At no point did I ever think any matches with you that there was some kind of like anger going on, because a lot of talking going back and forth too, like, "Hey man, throw me, do this, hey, you want to use the metal side of that belt to whip the shit out of me?" I don't remember saying that, but you went with it. Went with it.
Thinking back to the YWF RWF days, I'd say like working with you, you're probably my favorite person to work with, because I think that we had that trust and we knew like, well, we can beat the shit out of each other a bit. And
that wasn't until
anything.
The sidewalk incident. You tried killing me, bro, and I didn't even realize that till years later. That's fucked up.
I'm excited to watch those. All right.
Of course.
We could do a whole fucking podcast just reminiscing about backyard wrestling days. Shit.
We'll pull a special edition and review those one at a time and
who
from there.
You know who was and
it'd be fun to have some of the boys on.
Oh, absolutely.
As
absolutely.
Not as their character, but at least
as themselves to just reminisce.
Right.
Yeah. Like what were you thinking at that time? And there's so much funny shit.
Brad was thinking, I want to slap him.
So a final note before we move on from this, you know who was, and he's a listener, regular listener, and I love him, who was really hard to work with?
Who?
You want to guess?
No,
John didn't. John only did the one match.
Guy?
Aaron never wrestled.
No,
he was just the announcer, interviewer.
A regular listener.
Yep, one of our regulars.
I have no idea.
Ted.
Really?
Victor Severus.
Yeah, he does listen a lot.
Because now part of it was his character. It was kind of a takeoff of The Undertaker. So
Judgment has come.
He moved very robotically, and
he broke Richard's arm, right?
Well, Richard broke his own arm.
I mean,
Ted just I don't know if like in his own head it was part of the character. He never really sold much.
Right.
So there was times in a match where I'm like, dude,
I remember him getting like punched and it'd be like this.
Yeah,
very square, like it was like a rock'em sock'em robot.
Yeah, pump his chest out and come right back at you. And I was like, dude, I'm gonna have to really fucking lay it in to make it to do anything here.
He's like, knock me the fuck out.
We did that one spot. We had him between two sawhorses, and I jumped off the ladder, and the plastic on the sawhorse snapped, sliced the underside of his arm.
I thought you had a scar right there too. I was like, what the fuck?
Where? No,
right there. That must be a fat roll. My bad. Stretch mark.
That was your joke.
Well, I legitimately thought you were saying that would happen to you.
No.
So I seen that
Ted.
white line thinking, that's an gnarly scar. But
he got cut up pretty good.
The guy tried to act like he's in shape.
I give it to him. He took a beating, but yeah, getting him to sell anything.
Not an actor.
Oh, that was tough. That was tough.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm an actor, but I know when on my camera, I have to like put on a show. You would not agree with that?
Oh yeah, no, I would. Yeah.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I was just in my head thinking, I'm hoping Ted's not insulted by this. But
why would he be insulted by that?
He was that casket match we did. Oh, it was physical.
I mean, I remember
I was beat to fuck after that match.
Guy had Ted Fest, bro. I don't think that dude gets embarrassed about much. Ted Fest is sweet. I look forward to it.
Ted's what?
When he did Ted Fest.
I don't remember.
You don't remember Ted? Was I better friends with?
I don't think I was at
Ted
Fest.
Severus and
I don't think I was at Ted Fest.
A lot of weird motherfuckers there, dude. A lot of weird people at his house.
Well, we might have to get him on.
Yeah, I actually would like to hear more about that.
He's overseas. He's in the military.
I didn't know that.
Been in the military for years now.
He's overseas and he ain't pushing a podcast of foreigners, bro.
I mean, I can ask him.
Yeah. Well, we can send him details, bro.
Oh no, I talk to him about once a week. I send him the shit.
Listen, we're working on the merch situation. Right now it's small scale, but I would definitely like to get a man who's serving overseas one of our merches with some goddamn QR code action.
Well, we'll see what we can do.
Well, I mean, my wife is the one that has to make the shirts. So what do you got to do?
Well, I'm saying, man,
contact him, ask him what fucking size.
Ship it overseas. That's gonna, ain't gonna be cheap. All right. Anyways.
Hey.
All right. We'll talk more wrestling stories another day, but yeah, we'll have those videos coming hopefully in the next several weeks. All right. Let's move on here. So you remember that writing contest I told you about?
Yes, sir.
It's the NYC Midnight 100-word microfiction contest. I survived the first round.
Nice.
I was in a first round group, about 60 writers. Top 15 in each group get out. I placed 13th, so I got to the second round. Second round prompt comes in. This is how this contest works. You get an email at midnight.
Damn.
Then you have 24 hours to write the story. Got to submit it before midnight the next night. They give you a genre, they give you an action, and they give you a word that has to be used in the story. So my genre for the second round was action adventure. My action was throwing a rock, and my word was surge.
Did you go with a Bigfoot story?
I went with a lake monster story.
Hey.
Yeah. It was tough.
Same vein.
It was a weird process because previously, the 3 times I've done this previously, I got the basis of an idea that night. Like I had the bones of it. It morphed a little bit as I woke up the next day and started writing, but that's natural when you're trying to whittle something down to just 100 words. But this one was giving me hell. And I thought, I'm like, oh, action adventure, great. This won't be too bad. I was dreading romance because that's what did me in last year. Went in a totally different direction.
You can't write sexy, bro?
I'll read it. A future episode, I'll fucking read it. And so the cool thing about this contest, each round, you get feedback from the judges. So I submitted my I purposely.
They just sent back. You're disgusting.
Dude, I knew I couldn't write romance, so I was like, I'm not even going to try and write a straight up romance story. I'm gonna try and turn the genre on its ear a bit. So I wrote something that every female I sent it to read, they were like, "This is gross." Just to give you an idea. So yeah, the judges were like, "No, sir, this is not romance," and I didn't expect to get through, but
the authorities will be in touch with you shortly.
I wrote something that I enjoyed writing and that I was proud of. Had I was going out on a limb with it, and had I not done it and played it safe, I knew I wouldn't have got through the third round anyways, and then I'd have been disappointed in myself for not taking the risk. So I was relieved not to get romance. Shirley had a photo shoot.
But that's going to show up sooner or later, I'm sure.
Well, there's only 3 rounds, so hopefully not.
Oh, wouldn't that be a ball buster?
So she had a photo shoot. We went out to Irish Hills area. So I'm writing my story as we're heading out there. And the first thing I wrote, I'm just like, man, this isn't flowing how I want it to. I don't know that I can do this particular story justice in 100 words. And the night prior and then the day of, I kept coming back to like how the hard part is, where do you incorporate the action? It's easy enough to put in a single word. It's like, well, where do you put the action in? So I have found sometimes you build the story around the action or you get it out of the way right up front. But the difficult part about the genre was it's action adventure. I'm like, it has to be exciting. There has to be some thrill in 100 fucking words. And if you start with the rock being thrown, where do you go from there? Like, that's probably the climax. Is it like
out of the contest?
A rock.
That's where you go.
I thought about like, okay, throw the carrot. Maybe a kid's being initiated into a club or a gang, and he throws a rock through a window. I'm like, okay, but then what happens? They get chased by an old man. Where's the payoff? What's the ending?
They get caught and they, succumb to his natural urges. Won't use the R word. I wanted to. I won't do it.
It was difficult. So I wrote about a page, and then I was just like, this ain't working. So I kept coming back to this idea of a lake monster. And I was like, fuck it. I'm going to write something to do with a lake monster. And I ended up writing, it was kind of like a father-son story. And I was happy with it. I don't know that I'll get to the third round. Only 8 writers advanced from each group. I would love to advance.
Damn, only 8?
Yeah. So the contest started with over 6,000 writers.
Holy shit.
Second round, only 1,500 get through. By the start of the third round, there'll be about 200 left.
Wow.
I would love to get to the third round, simply because it'd be a step further than last year,
right.
But also because there's prize money. First 10 places pay.
Oh, hey.
10th place is $100, which ain't much, but that more than covers your entry fee, and you're placing 10th, they'll publish your name and shit. First fucking prize is $4,500.
Damn.
Yeah, I would love just to have a shot. I'm really hoping I get to the third fucking round. I would be fucking stoked to get to the third round. So yeah, I will read. I'll read some of those stories on a future podcast, and I'll read the feedback on the one in particular, the romance one, which was more erotica. It was pretty funny.
I look forward to hearing that.
So yeah, okay, yeah, future podcast. I'll read those.
Words like milky white breast. What movie is that from?
Milky white breast.
Milky.
Head of the family.
What? Breast. Milky white breast.
I don't know. What is that?
A League of Their Own.
Oh, it's from A League of Their Own?
That one illiterate chick who makes a team and she doesn't even know she made it because she's too fucking stupid to read. Not that you can't read. I get it. I don't really get it, actually. Get hooked on phonics, bro.
You illiterate, I get it.
Get unhooked on crack and cocaine and then methamphetamines to get hooked on phonics. You're just fine.
All right. So we got under 20 to go here. We got a few things to get to. So I didn't realize I hadn't told you this. We were talking before the podcast. I mentioned something to Brandon, and he's like, you didn't tell me that? A couple weeks ago, I'm getting ready for work in the morning, and there's a knock at the door, which is uncommon for that time of the day. Shirley comes in the bedroom, and she's like, are you expecting someone? I'm like, at 9 in the morning? No, I'm not expecting somebody. She's like, someone's at the door.
That's my strippergram showing up. Sweet.
So I go to the door, and I look through the peephole, and standing at my door is this skinny, long-haired somebody, and they're like holding themselves like they're shivering. And I'm looking, I'm like, what the fuck? So I look at Shirley, and I signal to the baby. I'm like, get August, go.
I'm not answering that door.
Get in the bedroom. Oh, I was. My interest was piqued. At first, I thought it was somebody that I had a falling out with at haunted house. I'm like, is that what that motherfucker here? I was like, that motherfucker still owes me money. Then I was like, no, that's not him. Then for a moment, I'm like, wait, is that a man or a woman? And then I realized, like, this was all dawning on me, like within seconds. And then I'm like, the motherfucker's practically naked. They're standing there in nothing but their boxers. So yeah, my interest is piqued, and I'm looking at them like, all right, if they try something, I kick their ass. They were small,
right?
So I opened the door. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, I'm so sorry to bother you. I locked out of my apartment. I don't have my phone. Could I just use your phone to call someone? And I was just like, so I'm still a little suspicious of the story because I'm like, did a fucking crackhead get in the building or something?
Right.
So I go, what apartment you live in? And they're like, 24. I'm like, what's your name? They tell me their name. I'm like, size them up. I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, you can use my phone. So calls what I'm assuming was his boyfriend. And boyfriend worked at a school. And apparently initially it was like, hey man, I can't leave work right now or whatever.
Right, what do you want me to do?
So they're on the phone, they're like, oh my God, this is the worst day ever. I'm like, chill out, dude. It's gonna be okay. So I was like, I'll call the landlord, I'll text the landlord. But before the landlord's even like replied.
Get that man a robe, bro.
So okay, so someone from the school calls back and is like, oh, tell him that so and so's coming to pick him up. So I was like, good, because I'm like, I had to be to work.
He's like, I'm fucking naked, bro.
So before this though, I had asked him. I was like, well, where's this guy work? He goes, he works at an elementary school in a neighboring city. I'm like,
great.
So I told him, I was like, I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I got to be in like an hour. I'm like, I'll take you. I'm like, it's not a big deal. It was pretty close by.
Get your naked ass in my car.
So I was like, let me get you some clothes. So I go and get him some clothes, and he was really nice and everything. And as we're standing there, like in an awkward silence, like waiting for this person to call back, he was just like, this is really nice decor in here. And he's like, oh, your son's beautiful.
Stay away from him.
He was just trying to make conversation. So thankfully, who I'm assuming was his boyfriend, came and got him. He returned the clothes later. And then I think it was like a week later, I ran into them coming in the building. And he just had this look on his face, this like of shame, like, oh, there's the guy.
You're like, what's up, sweet cheeks? I'm doing all right.
I felt so bad for him. Like, I could imagine. So I asked him, like, were you doing your laundry and you forgot your keys? And he thought for way too long about it, but then he was like, yeah. And I'm like, nah, that's not what you were doing.
You
what the fuck were you up to?
What was you doing?
Because now I'll admit, when it's like, it's been late at night and I wanted to like throw in a load of laundry, or I have to run down and get a load of laundry out and I'm already like in my underwear, like maybe I forgot about it, I'll be like, do I just take the chance and run down there?
No, you don't, because that's unacceptable.
I never have, simply because I'm like, it ain't worth the risk of getting caught. This was fucking morning. So if that's what he was really doing, I'm like, that's really poor judgment, man. And then you left in the boxers, they were pink heart boxers.
Wow.
The poor guy, he was having a rough morning.
That's rough.
Yeah. Hey, if you ever hear this, you know who you are. You're lucky you knocked at my door, because
you'll be getting a cease and desist letter, motherfucker.
I felt so bad for him. I can't imagine, like, what a start to your fucking day.
It's embarrassing. Certainly.
Your only option is to knock on a stranger's door in nothing but your underwear and basically have to beg them, please take pity on me. Can I call somebody?
Move along.
And you know what? Had he not looked unthreatening, because had he been like a big dude and looked a certain way, I wouldn't have opened the door. But it was only because he was small.
He was effeminate. You didn't know if it was man or woman. You didn't know what was going on.
Well, after a second, I could tell it was a dude.
Possibilities.
But yeah, I opened the door because I was like, well, I'm like, if they try something, I'm confident that I can restrain them. But yeah, had he been like a big dude, I'd been like,
Like me, I'm like,
I gotta go to work. I don't got time for this.
I've locked myself out. Oh.
All right, we got a little over 10 minutes left. We got one story for you.
Can you handle this for a second?
What you got to do?
I gotta grab a beer.
He's got to grab. You can't wait 10 minutes.
Why do you shame me? Why you shame me?
It's just okay. Go get your beer. I'll get the story fired up.
I gotta go.
Here we go. I'm gonna wait for Brandon to get back. It's a short trot from the honey hole to his living room. He has a mini fridge in the living room. I've mentioned this on an earlier episode. There he is. He's opening the door. He's reaching in. I think he grunted when he had to bend over there. That's understandable, though, of a man of his girth. He's talking to one of his children. He's waving a finger around. You'd think we weren't doing a podcast. Here he comes. He's coming back now. Okay. This is a story out of Kentucky. A man in Kentucky shoots roommate over Hot Pocket fight.
Oh, fuck.
Police say a shooting in Kentucky over the weekend was over a Hot Pocket. They arrested 64-year-old Clifton Williams Sunday for shooting his roommate. Investigators say they started fighting after the man ate the last microwavable pastry in the house.
I get it.
The roommate tried to leave after Williams reportedly starting throwing tiles at him. Then Williams allegedly got a gun. Police say he was able to squeeze off a shot that hit the man in the buttocks as he fled. The roommate walked for a few blocks to get help and was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Williams is facing assault charges and has been ordered not to have contact with the victim.
We need that clip of Denzel. Ooh, he shot me in the ass.
You know what reminded me of that was the story of you and Jason fighting over the leftover Pete's garage.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, that escalated way more to what? I guess. Either way, it could have been bad.
Yeah.
Jason could have been impaled by glass. That guy could have been shot in the dick. Not good.
I can't imagine,
I wonder what kind of Hot Pocket was.
I don't know that matters.
Dude, it matters, bro. You ever had a ham and cheese? Those things are disgusting. But a pepperoni boy. Fuck, man.
Worth shooting someone over.
Well, if you're starving and it's the last one, it's like a fucking power outage, certainly. But, if you're not able to go to the store and get yourself more food, it's like a battle for life and death.
But it's already been eaten.
Yeah, you fucking kill him and cut him open and scoop it out and fucking eat it. I don't know.
Although maybe that was his fucking plan all along. Maybe he wanted to get thrown in the clink so he gets some meals in him.
Or something else in him.
It is easy to laugh at these stories, but when you're talking about people who, that living on the fringes maybe, or they're in poverty.
Listen, if you're shooting someone over a fucking pastry puff fucking filled with pizza toppings, I don't really feel bad for you. Rot in prison. Good luck.
Oh, he gonna.
you don't get no hot pockets in jail. At least not how you know them. Plenty of hot pockets to be filled.
His is probably gonna get filled. Clifton, he's an old dude. I don't know. They might not want that old flappy anus.
Oh, they like old ass.
You think so?
I think so.
I wouldn't think that would be the ass that they go. There's a pecking order in any culture, subculture. There's a pecking order.
I say this much: Jason's going to be in trouble the way he's using that bidet or boudet or how the fuck you say the goddamn thing.
I've never used one.
Me either.
Maybe we should do a video on that.
But I know he's not doing it right.
Yeah, someone else I talked to didn't seem to think he was doing it right
as
either.
I said before, tighten your asshole and it's supposed to rinse it all off your asshole. Not open your asshole up and take it in like a fucking second mouth. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, because to me, that's you fucking, that's like an enema.
Yeah, and you're definitely susceptible to fucking infections and shit through that.
He's a nurse. He should know better.
What hospital does he work at? Because I ain't going there.
Well, I'm not going to say where he works.
I ain't going there.
He works at a pretty prestigious one, though.
Oh, that's scary. That's fucking who the fuck they're employing. That's terrifying.
Hey, man, nurses don't always make the best decisions either. They're people, too.
No.
Damn, what? Yeah, no, but back to prison.
Back to prison.
Dude, there's definitely a tiered system of desirable ass in prison, and a 64-year-old is not at the top of that list.
Maybe he's got the tightest ass they've ever seen.
Dude, but could you imagine?
Dude, virgin ass is virgin ass, bro.
But, okay, but the optics, though. You got this old man bent over, and you're looking at his pasty white, cellulite, droopy ass.
He's drawing his
and
loose
that's
skin.
doing it. That's doing it for you.
You draw your name in his loose skin.
How the fuck you even get hard for that?
I don't know how you get hard at all in in any of those situations, but they do it. They get it done. You take your teeth out, old man.
Now that
look it now it's starting
that
to
makes
make
a little
sense.
more sense
Now
because then they can just close their eyes. They can imagine whatever they want.
Remember butterfly effects? Like, should I suck your dick now or later? He's like, undoes his fly. He's like, wash your teeth, and you believe him without them. Like, damn, bro. But then Ashton Kutcher stabs him in the dick, so it's all right. It works out in the long run. You never seen that movie?
Yeah,
that's good.
Years ago, man, going to prison would be horrible.
What does he also say? Blood on my knife or shit on my dick. What? Is there a third option?
That's quite a choice.
Because I'm not cool with either one of those things.
Whose blood we talking about?
Right, what we talking about here?
Whose blood and whose poop? That's gonna change my answer. Oh man, I don't know. Like going to prison. Fuck.
I'm too pretty and chubby for prison. They eat me up. Eat me up like a Twinkie.
My only hope, if I went to prison, I'd have to mastermind some shit. I'd have to like convince them like I could be like the guard whisperer. I can get us shit.
Good luck with
I can
that,
give
bro.
us privileges. If you don't shank me or stick it to me, I can get us privileges
Like, listen,
because
you
I'm
white
smart.
motherfucker. Shut the fuck up.
That's
or
the
I'll
thing
kill
too,
you.
man. In some prisons, it's like it like boils down to race.
Yeah,
It's
you're
like
not even allowed to eat with anyone.
like you better side with the Nazis because they're the only ones that'll have you. But man, I don't know, man. I couldn't do it.
You ever seen American History X?
Yeah.
He goes in that way and he has to side with them and he realizes it's bullshit. And next
Right.
thing he's friends with a black dude and then they're fucking with him and then they fuck him.
Yeah.
And then they fuck him in the shower.
That's
It's
rough.
It's very rough. It's a hard movie to watch, but an even harder scene to watch.
Oh yeah.
Slam his face into the wall and then boom, boom.
Oh man, if you guys could see Brandon's face.
They bring
right
him two
now.
popsicles, one to enjoy and one to soothe the old leather Cheerio.
Ooh, that's rough. All right, last story of the day. Grimace Shake. Apparently, it's Grimace's birthday. Grimace from McDonald's.
Yeah, that's what I see.
Bi-Curious Biker had a little something to say about that today. You can check it out on the YouTube page.
Doesn't surprise me that he added a comment on that. Here's the thing. I thought it was a grape. It's not grape.
It's not a grape flavor?
No, I don't think you're allowed to make grape flavor ice cream.
Why
That's a
not?
story for a different time. I read a thing about it, about how something to do with Ben and Jerry. It's a whole thing. I don't want to get into it, but I will explain it in a different episode.
Okay.
But I know, as far as I know, grape ice cream is banned by the FDA.
Really?
It's very deadly to dogs.
Huh.
Like grapes will fuck dogs up. A little bit of grape ice cream will really fuck a dog up. Anyways, so when I seen that, I was like, "Oh, they got a grape shake." No, they don't. They got a wild berry shake.
Oh, it's wild berry.
Wild berry.
Okay.
But here's the fucking kicker, bro. Here's the thing. You can't just buy the shake. They corral your wallet by making you buy a whole fucking meal. The only way you can get it. $11.
Now, do you get that in addition to your normal beverage, or is that like substituting for the beverage in the meal?
No, that's your beverage. The purple shake.
Yeah, that's a shakedown right there.
Yeah, $11 for a 10-piece nugget, a large fry, and a shake you've never tried. You don't even know if you're going to like it. I'm good.
Yeah, because I heard that, the trend on TikTok, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll go get one of those. I didn't, but I'm glad I didn't because I'd have wasted my time.
You'd have been like, what the fuck? I don't want the nuggets or the fries. I want the shake.
It got me to thinking, though, what the fuck is Grimace?
He originally was a bad guy.
Grimace was a bad guy?
Yeah, oh yeah. Back in the day, back way, way, way back then, he was a bad guy.
All right, but I mean, like,
He was the Grimace.
like, what is he? What a species? What
like,
the fuck is he? He looks like an oversized gumdrop.
He's like an unhappy fat. He's like essentially what you will turn into if you continue to eat Grimace meals at McDonald's. A big, fat, blobby, purple motherfucker who's unhappy with himself, who hasn't seen his feet since 79. That's just how it goes.
Does Grimace talk?
He kind of sounds like me, actually.
So not very well.
Well,
So if Grimace was Grimace, so he was the original villain? Was he before the Hamburglar?
I believe that him and the Hamburglar were like the two, like
it was a
like
tag team.
like Bebop and Rocksteady for the TMNT. Like they were like
Maybe they were giving it to each other in prison.
I think they were.
Could
That-
you
that
imagine?
would
Could
explain-
you imagine Grimace pushing up on you?
It would explain why the Hamburglar's dick was fucking purple.
We'll do some further investigating on the nature of Grimace. Get back to you guys on that. As always, please subscribe to the YouTube. We are trying to grow this thing, and thank you to everyone that's subscribed so far. You can check us out on Instagram. Follow there, Vagrants N Vandals, and on Facebook too. And if you want to interact with this show, you'd like to send us some feedback, you want to complain, anything you want, you can email us at vagrantsnvandals@gmail.com. That is vagrants, the letter N, vandals@gmail.com. Brandon, final words, wrapping up real quick here.
It was good times today. It was nice to be back in the honey hole. Yeah, I want to hear them suggestions. Let's go, people. I want to hear it.
Remember, be you vagrant or be you vandal, all rascals and rogues, welcome here.